Welcome back to Relationship. I am joined here by content creator and professional misogynist annihilator with over 1 million followers on TikTok, Drue Afualo.
Hey.
I cannot tell you how much joy it brings me to watch you read toxic men on
Right.
TikTok on a daily basis.
Honestly, it's a full-time job, so
Somebody's got
to do it.
Somebody's got to do it. And I'm so glad that it's you, because the way that you do it is so effortless, but you also have like an educated perspective. And I feel like they don't fuck with that.
No, not at all. Once, like, I think when these men like see me, they think I'm an idiot. They just kind of assume. And then I do obviously cuss a lot too, so they're just like, "Oh, she's just an idiot girl."
Yeah. With
but
a
I'm
potty mouth.
Right.
They always
literally.
think that like a potty mouth makes you less smart.
Yeah, and it's this weird like puritanical view on women as far as like, oh, that's so unladylike. And I'm like, unladylike these nuts. That's how I feel
Period.
about that.
But did you see that like there's an article that says that people who curse live longer?
Yeah, and they're also tend to be smarter.
So
period.
Fuck you. Thank you very
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Well, the first question that I have that, we ask everyone because
Yes.
it's the most important question of all time.
Of course.
What is your zodiac sign and why is it Virgo?
Oh, period. Yes. Are you a Virgo?
No, I'm a Virgo rising though.
Oh, period.
And anytime I see your videos, I'm like, we have a connection because she doesn't give a fuck.
No, not at all.
And she's going to say exactly how it is.
Absolutely. I would love to tell y'all my big three. I'm a Virgo sun, Cancer moon, Sagittarius rising. So I'm like chaos wrapped in like a neurotic blanket that has lots of plans for everything. So my Virgo, like the Virgo in me is very methodical about how I read people the house down, like literally always. So, and my Cancer moon is kind of like me being very emotional. So that's why I get so attached to like women who send me things and they're like, this made me feel some type of way.
Yeah.
It kind of like brings out this like mother bear in me. So yeah. So those are my big three. I get that question a lot.
And then Sagittarius, like,
Oh, yeah.
That's the professional annihilator.
That's my fire. So that's why a lot of times people are like, I know you're a fire sign. Like, you have to be.
Yeah.
And I was like, based off my reactions to things, yes, people always assume I'm an Aries, which I'm not. But Sagittarius rising is why I'm so like, I don't give a fuck about anything.
I said she has to be a Scorpio or a Virgo just by the reads because
Yeah.
they're so well put together. It's just like only a Virgo could make you feel like a grain of sand.
Right. It's honestly insane. It's funny too because Virgo men are horrible.
Right.
And Virgo women are amazing.
Right.
I'm biased, but
No, but I actually agree with you.
Yeah.
And even like one of my best friends is a Virgo. She used to date a Virgo.
Yeah.
And he was horrible.
Oh my gosh, it's so bad. That would be my nightmare.
Yeah.
My boyfriend's a Libra. So like Libras are very like find themselves in toxic situations a lot. So like Libras don't care about anything.
Yeah.
And I care about everything.
Right.
So like
Right.
it's been a balancing act for the two of us. But it's been pretty good.
Virgo, Sag, and Cancer in the big three. They never stood a chance. Truly. Like,
Right.
they never stood
It's an
a
uphill
chance.
battle, honestly.
How do you deal with, because obviously when you're being straight up and real and honest, people tend to have issue with that.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the comments, especially from men who literally couldn't even like measure up to your big toe? Talking shit about you. And like
Yeah.
I've seen even some of the messages like, or you talking about the messages and like they're like, oh, you must not have a man or he must be blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
what a
you guys
burn.
are both gorgeous and like in a happy couple and
Yeah.
they could never. Like, how do you
Yeah.
deal with that?
I honestly get that question a lot. I actually have a lot of creators who are pretty big to ask me how I deal with it also because the hate is pretty aggressive and I do get it on all my platforms, not just TikTok. It's obviously the most aggressive on TikTok, but I think it obviously my Cancer moon, right? It does get to me eventually, but
Yeah.
not in the sense of like it makes me feel any type of way about myself. It's never really that. It's always just like, sometimes it just gets overwhelming because I am such a competitive person that I will get wrapped up in trying to respond to all of it all the time. And so it's like, it starts to consume my every waking thought, but it never really affects me. It never really penetrates like my heart or my brain because I know who the fuck I am.
Right.
I'm not going to let some balding 5'6" white dude tell me I'm ugly. Like, okay, bitch. And that's why I always tell them, run me a picture of you.
Right.
If you're taller than me and make more money than me and are better looking than me, I'll eat my fucking hat, bitch.
Yes.
That's what I'll do.
But it's never gonna happen.
No, it's never gonna. And that's and the irony is that most of these men, if they met me in person, would drink my fucking bathwater.
Yeah.
So
willingly.
you're literally
would pay you
full
to.
of it. Honestly, you're full of it that I'm ugly because we both have eyes.
Yeah.
So I'm clearly not ugly. You just
Hello.
don't like what I have to say, which is fine. That's okay. But I think it's just my overall self-assuredness. Like, I'm so confident about who I am as a person that things like that, it's just like, it rolls off my back eventually. So I've grown an even thicker skin, believe it or not.
Yeah. Have you always been this way, or was there like a particular turning point where you were like, fuck everyone, I'm going to say whatever I want?
I would say I've definitely always been this way as far as like being confrontational and being, I just have such a low tolerance for bullshit. Like just people, whether it's like being a bigot or just being offensive in general, like I can't do it. I can't deal with it and I won't deal with it. And so I've always been that way. I think I just started broadcasting it a lot more honestly on my TikTok, and that's what blew me up. That's honestly what blew everything up, was people seeing how real I am about like all my opinions and just kind of being a voice for women and women of color and other marginalized communities. So like, it's just something that I've always had inside me. I think I just finally kind of leaned into it a little bit more when I started posting on TikTok. So.
Because it's advocacy. Like, it's not just you talking shit. Like, you're standing up for people.
Yeah.
And I love that you use the word confrontational, because I think so many people, like even one of my sisters is like super non-confrontational. She like can't handle it. Whereas I'm like, I fucking love that shit. Like something sadistic inside of me is like, oh,
like the masochist inside you.
You want to go?
Right.
Okay.
Honestly.
But like, I'm a Scorpio.
Yeah.
Sun.
Okay.
Rising Virgo.
Wow.
Libra moon, which like brings me back in a little
bit. Ties you to earth a little bit more.
But the Scorpio and the Virgo just want to fucking rip
I know.
you to
They just want to
shreds.
fight all the time.
That's it. That's it. I just want to like rip you apart.
Yeah.
So when somebody is coming at me, especially with something that is so just not even on par with anything that I could possibly want to talk about, or like something that is just so bigoted or disgusting, it's like, okay, I could let you slide, but I'm not going to.
Literally, honestly, period. Because I said this too, like on the other episode, like the other podcast I was on too, but like men, especially white men, white straight cis men, are so used to being unchecked in so many different areas of life. Like they never get checked for anything they say or do, and they're kind of operating on this, I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want, and everyone around me has to deal with it.
Yes.
And then when you run across a bitch like me who does not do things that way, they get very upset because they're like, oh, who the fuck is this? Like, and they get very upset because they've never been challenged.
Right.
So you can, sure, you can say whatever the fuck you want. It's the internet. Like it's a free, lawless land, to be honest. But in return, like, let's keep that same energy when I drag it to hell and back.
Yes.
Like, let's keep the same energy. Because honest to God, like a lot of the men, they say these things so boldly, and then I make videos and I ratio the fuck out of them with my likes and comments and stuff. So like my video does infinitely better and it's funnier.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, like they just mass report my videos, or they'll like mass report my account, and they'll say like, oh, she was attacking me, like she was bullying me. I can't tell you how many men I've dragged that have messaged me or come on my videos and been like, she took what I said out of context, like blah, blah. And I said, you know what, for someone who speaks so fucking boldly, you really bitch out when it comes to pay the piper, don't you? Literally. You really throw that towel in really fucking quick for someone who's so bold. Like if you don't care, then what do you care what I have to say about it?
Meanwhile, like, we're not, for anyone listening who's like, oh, they just hate men, but I'm going to turn the fucking channel.
And
like,
what of it?
Right. Well, first of all, yes.
Yeah.
Secondly, like, these aren't just men who are like, oh, women should be in the kitchen. Like, these are men who are literally talking about, like, sexually assaulting women and, like,
Honestly.
doing crazy shit.
Yeah.
And not having any regard for women or their safety or anything like that. So
Honestly.
they deserve every single last drop
Right.
of the energy that you're
And
giving them.
and I was just saying the other day too that like y'all should be grateful for the community guidelines on TikTok, because if not, I would be a lot fucking meaner. And I literally can't, because they'll get rid of me.
Right. Which they tried to.
Which they have. They banned me again. Fun update, they banned me again today, but it's all right. We'll get it back. It'll be fine. I know. So that's like another issue too, is like all this energy that's directed at me should be directed at actual bigots on that platform, because what I've been able to create is like a safe space for women and other marginalized communities too. So somewhere to come and feel empowered and feel like you can say what you feel, and you shouldn't feel bad about it. You shouldn't be made to feel bad because you don't like how someone talks to you, or you don't like when someone makes offensive jokes around you. Like, there's nothing wrong with you because you don't like that.
Exactly.
Right.
Or when someone mistreats you, which leads us
Literally.
to why we are here. The topic of the day is navigating fuckboys. I know you're in a committed, long relationship. You guys are happy. You guys are so cute.
Thank you.
Have you dealt with any fuckboys in your love life?
Yes. Are you kidding? That's like a rite of passage as a straight woman, unfortunately for us, isn't it?
Yeah.
We all have to go through them eventually.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I get asked that a long time, like, did somebody like do something, like did you encounter a fuckboy or like get fucked over by a fuckboy, and that's why like you feel the way I'm like, no, I've always felt like this. And I have interacted with fuckboys. Yes, I have dated them, and that's what drives my point home even further. I'm a veteran, right? I've been out in those streets. Okay,
same. My God,
I have war stories to tell.
And it doesn't even take, like, you don't have to deal with 30 fuckboys to get the picture. Like, one is enough for me, honestly. I don't literally need no more.
Literally. Once I have one, we're good after that.
We're good. But apparently, you know, we had a lot of people write in, and there are a lot of crazy scenarios going on. Oh my
God, I can only imagine.
So people would die for your advice, obviously.
I'm happy to give it.
And you're a straight shooter, and like we need that. Right. We need that. So
period.
The first message, I'm going to leave this person anonymous because they asked me to.
Okay.
Her pronouns are she, her, and his are he, him.
Okay.
And she says, just came across your post and I felt like contacting you. My situation, though, is a bit complicated. I'm dating a celebrity who grew bigger in the relationship, and because of that, a lot of things have changed. My partner is emotionally available and tune in with my feelings, but he does all the bad boyfriend things. He texts other girls even late at night. He answers fans' DMs, receives nudes, hangs out with girls without me knowing, going out to parties without me knowing, following, liking, commenting on other girls. And the girls he follows are always IG models or someone with OnlyFans or someone who posts very revealing pictures. I've talked to him about it before, but he said that this is his work and how he gets inspired to make his music. And he comes up with video ideas, and that the girls he meets up with or parties with are just strangers who model for him.
Yeah.
He did feel sorry and guilty for that, but after a while he told me that it's just me being insecure and projecting my issues on him, and that he shouldn't tell me about things like that or stop doing them.
Oh my God.
We're both in individual therapy because of how our relationship has been, and because we both had problems with our houses before. I think like home problems, family issues.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm still with him is because he loves me so much, and everyone notices that. He cares for me a lot, and he's always there when I need him. I've seen him change for the better, and I can see a future for us together. He always says that he never felt this way, and that he'll never find a love like this, and that he's invested in this relationship and wants it to become a marriage with a family and kids. And of course I'd love that because I love him too. Would love to hear back from you.
Ooh. My goodness.
Baby girl.
That is an onion that we need to peel back. All those layers, girl.
There's a lot of layers.
Mama, there is a lot to unpack here.
Yes.
Well, first of all, fame comes at a price, right? Which I'm sure you know. And I'm like a baby in that world right now. So like it does come at a price, that's for sure. Dating famous people or people with any sort of influence can definitely come at a price, a
It
heavy
muddies
one
the
to
waters.
pay. It really does. Also, I'm like a firm believer. I've like made videos on this in the past that if you have boundaries in your relationship and whatever they look like, right? It's no one's right to say like those are not right.
Right.
So like you're being crazy, which is what men love to say about women when they have basic level boundaries. So for example, her telling him she doesn't like him getting naked pictures of other bitches. Yeah.
That's gonna be a no.
Yeah,
bud.
it's a pretty across the board boundary for most people in committed relationships. Like if you're not in an open relationship, if you're not polyamorous in any way, don't know why you need those. What do you need those for? What do you?
It's his inspiration for his
yeah?
work, Drue.
Oh, really?
He needs the inspiration so he can make the music.
the inspiration, trying to become a doctor. That's why you need to see all that anatomy.
Yes.
Yeah, fuck out of here. That's what I'm saying. Like that's literally that. If you tell your significant other, like, hey, this makes me uncomfortable. Like you liking pictures of naked girls or girls in bikinis or whatever, like that's no shade to that girl,
right?
But, like, and that doesn't mean you're insecure. I had a huge like influx of videos once about this because some women were confused. Like they were saying like, oh, you sound insecure, and I'm like, just because I don't want my man liking a picture of an ass that's not mine, that doesn't mean that I'm insecure. That means that makes me uncomfortable, and I don't want you to do it. Right. And I was talking about it with my boyfriend because, believe it or not, there are men out there who don't need to be told that. Like they don't need to be told, hey, don't do that. Right. He just doesn't do it because he knows. Like one, he has no interest in it because he's only interested in me. We're in a monogamous relationship. And two, he knows it's disrespectful. Yeah. And I think from what it sounds like this man is keeping his foot out the door at all times. So he wants the security of having you at home, right? Because he doesn't want to be alone. Because anyone, I'm sure you've been in the world for a long time now, like it gets lonely. Yeah. Like if you're fucking and sucking your way through Hollywood, it gets lonely after a while. So he needs somebody at home to make him feel good, to feel and like
hold
okay,
him down.
Exactly, right? And so, but at the same time, he's stepping out on you, like in more ways than one. Emotionally, physically, I'm sure he's physically cheating too if he's already emotional.
1000% cheating.
Right? And I always say too, like just because someone doesn't do anything physical with someone doesn't mean they're not cheating. Right. If you wouldn't do it to him, like let me ask you a question, girl. Would he be okay if you were doing the same thing? Like if you were, if you were getting dick pics, if you were going out and getting a bunch of naked dudes and being like, this is my inspo for my job, hello, would he have the same energy or would he be like, why would you do that to me? Right. Because it's a double standard. So they want to have their cake and eat it too. That's not fair to you. Yeah. Whether or not a man needs to go to therapy, because I think it's great that you're both in therapy, that's for sure. But if your relationship is so bad to the point where you're like, we should probably both go to therapy, I think it's time to hang them up, to be honest.
And with everything else on top of that, like for sure. And the fact that he's projecting, you have to be very, very careful when you are in a relationship with someone who you bring up a concern to them and they throw it back in your face as if it's a you issue. Yeah. When in reality, I just want you to stop liking naked pictures on the internet.
Literally. he's like, that sounds like a you issue. Yeah. Why don't you stop caring so much? How about that? Why don't you
stop looking?
Yeah. Why don't you stop caring about me liking other titties?
Or the best thing, they'll be like, you know what? That's why I don't even like Instagram. It's like, it has nothing to do with the app. It has everything to do with you.
Yeah. I'm like, it's user generated, right? It cultivates like an algorithm based off what you like and interact with.
And your thumb just has to double tap on that ass.
And that's why I'm saying, like, they're like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's just a picture, right? I'm like, what do you like about that picture? Right. Tell me what you like about the picture. Is it the bathing suit she's wearing or lack thereof? Or is it the ass and titties? Right. That's why I'm not an idiot. And I know she isn't either. Yeah. She's just in love, which is, it comes at a price. That's why I'm saying, like, sometimes you shouldn't have to like deal with all of this, all his issues, like his lack of commitment and faithfulness should not come at the expense of your mental health, which it sounds like it is. It sounds like it's running her down into the fucking ground, to be honest.
Right. I mean, I honestly could talk about the situation for like 20 minutes.
Dump him, girl. That's my advice.
Honestly, like, but then you have that feeling of like, I'm the one who knows him best, and like, how is he gonna find somebody who loves him for him if he's like gaining all the celebrity? But girl,
okay, well, go figure it out. Go explore the world then. Put that dick in every bitch then, if that's the case.
And let him sometimes you have to make people miss you and realize what it is that they have in you.
Honestly.
And if he wants to search for you in every woman, go ahead.
Literally. I won't be around.
I have literally told men that.
Yeah.
You will search for me in every woman and you will never find it.
Yeah, and then it's too late at that point.
And then it's too late. And now I'm walking down the aisle with somebody else.
Period.
And you watching, looking sad, liking my pictures on Instagram.
Right.
Happy in all white.
Right.
Anyways, moving on. Okay, so this one, we're talking about navigating fuck boys, but fuck girls are welcome as well, because it's a fuck people just in general. There are a lot of fuck people in the world.
Got it.
So this one says, so basically I identify as she, her, and I've been talking to this woman who also identifies as she, her for a year coming up tomorrow. When we first met, we were excited and always hanging out. Then maybe a few months in, she decided to pull back and be more reserved and shut me out. We went from 24-hour phone calls to once-in-a-while calls to little texts. No more feelings are expressed because she said that she's not looking for anything serious. However, we talk almost every day. She will go to Costco for me. You know it's real when they go to Costco or IKEA for you. That's
run your errands.
That's some shit. Tells me she misses me, runs errands for me, but the catch is we don't even have sex. We are not intimate anymore, and we haven't been for a while. We don't even make out. But when she does come around, she visits maybe 2 or 3 times a month, and we cuddle and fall asleep together, or she will go home. Now this is where I'm confused because I ask what we are, and she just says, I'm enjoying getting to know you, but we never do dates or plan something fun. So now I'm like, I can't say she's a fuck girl, and I can't say that we're dating. So what the fuck am I supposed to say we're doing? Because she never tells me what we're doing. And talking about feelings is like pulling teeth. Please help. Any advice would help me.
Man, that one's kind of tough, because I think that in order to be a fuck boy or a fuck girl, or like to just be a terrible person, you have to be vague about what your intentions are.
Right.
So you're not being honest and you're playing games. This sounds like this person's being very honest with you about they're just not looking for anything right now.
Yeah.
So if you guys aren't being intimate, and on top of that you don't do dates, it sounds like you're friends. Sounds like your roommates almost. Like
friends that cuddle and go to Costco together.
Literally, like it sounds like she sees you as more of a friend than like a partner, right?
Yeah.
Like than an intimate partner. So I honestly, if she's not giving you what you want, right? If she's not giving you the exclusivity that you're asking for, and that's what you want, then I would try to move on, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think the definition of a fuck person in general is the kind of gray area that they're constantly leaving you in.
Yeah.
But when somebody tells you, and I was just talking about this with a friend the other day, like for some reason, when we're told like, I'm not looking for anything serious, in the back of our mind somewhere, we're like, yeah, you are.
Yeah, literally. You're like, or maybe I can change your mind.
Exactly. I will happily change your mind.
Right.
We will be serious. You just don't know that yet. Like it's very much that kind of like mental gymnastics that doesn't need to happen. They're telling you exactly what it is that they want.
Exactly. Yeah. And if like, I know this isn't a man, but like for men, especially when they tell you exactly what it is they want, like a lot of times as women, we look for deeper meaning. And we're like, oh, well, maybe he hesitated a little, so maybe he was nervous. And like we create these backstories that do not exist. Right. And I'm guilty of doing this too.
Same.
So like you create this fantasy and you're like, oh my God, okay, that makes total sense. Yeah. He's just nervous.
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't think I want anything serious.
Yeah, exactly. When in reality, he told you exactly what he wanted and why he wants it that way. So I think that's what this person is doing. They're just being very honest and upfront with you. Yeah. And since you seem to be cool with it, they're like, oh, they're cool with it. They don't care. Yeah. Right? So.
She might think that you guys are on the same page. Yeah. But it sounds like you are into her. And there's nothing wrong with that, but like protect your heart, protect your feelings from yourself, because it's not really her so much that's doing it. Like her hanging out with you is not necessarily her doing something wrong. Exactly. It's really you not listening.
Exactly. Yeah. And then if you feel so inclined, like just tell her, I like you and I would like to pursue this like exclusively. Is that something that you're interested in? And that can be really scary. Yeah. But sometimes you have to make peace with it so that you don't, stay up all night making up stories in your head. You might as well just get the answer straight from the source. Yeah.
She's gonna pass you that bag of croissants at Costco and you'll be like, oh my God, we're dating.
You're like, oh my God, she so likes me.
She's in love with me. Yeah. go. Protect yourself. Protect your heart. Okay. Let's see. God, this one's a long one. Lord. People need help, and I want to help all y'all. Okay. Here we go. I've been dealing with a guy for 3, almost 4 years. Everything was perfect, and then 6 months happened. He posted me as a special friend on his Facebook, and his girlfriend that I didn't even know existed hit me up in the DM asking how I knew him on some woman-to-woman shit. You know, when they come to you as a woman, Lord have mercy, just delete the account.
Honestly, throw the whole man away.
Delete the account.
Throw him in the trash.
Okay, so I tried to let it go after that, but he never lost contact. This guy would call me 125 times a day. It became harassing. So now he's engaged to this woman and still won't stop calling me. I've expressed over and over that I'm done and I don't want to communicate with him or somebody else's man, but he will not stop. I would change my number, but I have a blind daughter who is 18 and all of her doctors and schools have this number. But I definitely think I'm going to have to change it anyways. I don't follow him on any social media platforms and he doesn't follow me. Help, how can I get rid of this bullshit? I'm so tired of going through this.
Oh my God.
Restraining order.
Literally, that's honestly all you can do at this point.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, are you still friends with him and stuff, but you answered all those questions, girl. I would involve the authorities at this point. Like, this man is clearly not getting the hint, and
Call the law.
That's honestly terrifying. No, seriously, call the authorities and get a lawyer. That's what I want to tell you.
Yeah. Hi. So I'm not really sure this is exactly fuckboy material. Sure it is. But I met a guy back in February and we started talking pretty much every day since and saw each other at least once a week if we could. We did this for 4 months. Things were good, at least so I thought. We were out once and one of his friends asked if I was his girlfriend. He stuttered and said, just a good friend. I jokingly said,
Ouch.
What did you call me? But I honestly didn't care. We hadn't talked about it, so I knew I wasn't his girlfriend. Ever since, he's been distant, didn't talk as much, and when we did, it felt normal. I asked to go to his after work a week later and give him some cookies. And again, talking like everything was normal and everything was fine. And then towards the end of the conversation, it dwindles, and he says that he needs to talk to me. My heart sank. I was like, oh shit, what is about to happen? I would have never thought that he was going to end things right then and there with no explanation. Just said that it wasn't going to work. It's been 6 weeks and I still think about this guy every frickin' day. Can't get him out my head. Still question where things went wrong and how he's moved on so easily.
Well, I mean, the obvious thing I want to tell you is that, like, if he wasn't interested in you and, like, pursuing a relationship with you anymore, it wasn't because you brought him cookies.
Right.
It wasn't because you made a joke. It's
Right.
because he made that decision already. So it's like spinning your wheels trying to figure out, like, what you did wrong won't really serve you in the end because it wasn't really you.
Right.
That wasn't on you
specifically,
I don't think.
No, it doesn't sound like it. I mean, I can only, that feeling of like the what are we, but like a public what are we with his friend asking like, oh, is this your girlfriend? And like, that's such a awkward situation too.
No kidding.
Like, what do you say if you're not 100% like, we haven't had this conversation? Like, I think theoretically you want for the guy to be like, oh yeah, this is my girl, like this is my girlfriend. But if you haven't had that conversation, I don't really know. Like, there's not really much that you could do.
Yeah, and on that point, it's out of your control. Like, if they said that, his friend said that, and then you didn't really say anything in return, you just made, like, a small joke afterwards, I don't think that was, like, the nail in the coffin for him. If anything, he was probably entertaining other people at the same time and kind of just pursued another avenue, which makes him a fuckboy, right?
Right.
But I will say, like, when I started dating my boyfriend, like, I would say, like, our second date, we went to a restaurant, and the waitress, like, knew him and his family because they used to eat there all the time. And she was, like, friends with his mom on Facebook. And so the waitress told my boyfriend, new girlfriend? Like, because she just, like, has no filter. So, like, it was, like, so new. So I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
And then my boyfriend now was like, oh, we're just really good friends right now. We're just hanging out.
Yeah.
You know? And he's like, and she's like, oh, yeah, much prettier. New girlfriend.
Oh,
that's
shit.
What
she was right.
Yeah,
I don't even know the last one, but she was right.
So she was super like, whatever. And then he laughed about it and it was over.
Yeah.
So, like, see, it's the same exact situation. But see, my boyfriend was very interested in pursuing a relationship with me. So it didn't waver him.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't shake him to his core to where he was like, oh, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
He was literally like, whatever. And just like 3 months later, we became official. So
yeah,
it's just one of those things where like you can't say the wrong thing to the right person.
Right.
So if it's really the one, if it's really that guy, like nothing anybody says is going to change his opinion of you.
Right.
But if he was already on the fence and he wasn't the one,
It sent him over the edge.
yeah, just anything small will kick him over that edge. Like
Right.
Spartan kick him off that cliff.
Literally. Oh my God. Let's see. There's another long one.
I'd love to hear it.
Lord. Okay. Last one. Hey, Cammie. So I've been dating this guy for almost 2 years. When I met him, we were still living with his dad, and I found out a few weeks in that he had a first love that he had still been in contact with. For months, we argued, and he tried to prove that he didn't want her, and he bashed her to the max. They always do that, child. And still, every time we got into an argument or we break up, he runs back to his ex and starts messing with her. I recently found out a few weeks ago that he had a whole other Facebook page that he was using to cheat, and guess who he was inboxing? The ex. She also watches all of my social media, and when I bring it up to him, he acts like he doesn't know why and that she's a jealous weirdo. She said, LOL, clown emoji. At this point, I realize that no matter how much he says, what? I can't read. At this point, I realize that no matter what he says about her and tries to be loyal to me, that he still finds his way back to her. Now I have a daughter that we do not share, but I have no relationship with her father. And we have a child together. Him and his ex do not have any kids together. So I'm also saying, what? Child, some of these things, I need y'all to put this in plain English text. Because I need LASIK. I don't have time to be, trying to put the context clues together. Anyway, him and his ex do not. He's still blah, blah. So I'm always saying that he still loves her because he stays going back to her even though they have no ties. Now every time I break up with him, he gets very toxic and pops up to where he knows that I'm going to be, has his friends call, text, and harass me. I change my number, but he starts emailing me and gets really obsessive. But why are you like this and living a double life and still love your ex? But according to him, he doesn't. Help.
That is a mess, girl. That is a mess, girl. You are in the middle of it.
Yes.
Jeez
Into
Louise.
the thick of it?
Honestly,
It's bad.
literally, that's a hot ass mess. I will say that children are no reason to stay with like someone.
Right.
Like not at all. They're not a binding contract.
But
to
they don't
your
have
person.
a child together.
I thought she said they had
She
two.
has a child with somebody else, and she's saying, I don't even have contact with him like that. Like, we
I
don't.
thought she said they had one too.
No, they don't have
Oh,
one.
Okay. So she only has the one.
Exactly.
Okay.
She's saying he doesn't have any kids
child
with
with
this
her.
ex. So why does he keep running back to her? She's like, you're obviously still in love with her.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, and I mean, that is so messy. I mean, girl, at this point, it's more trouble than it's worth. It's really not like, even if he gets harassment like charges and stuff, like
Yeah.
if he starts having his friends harass you, like at that point, it's toxic.
He's a bugaboo.
Yeah, to everyone. It's toxic to everyone. It's going to bleed into your personal life. It's going to bleed
Yeah.
into your family life, to your child's life, because you're involving someone into your life that could have potentially affect your child. So
Right.
at that point, like, same thing, call the cops.
Yeah.
Like, call the authorities, alert the authority, get a
Yes.
lawyer.
Yes.
Like, for people like that, honestly. And yeah, he is in love with his ex still. And even if he isn't, he runs to her when things go bad with you. So like, you really want someone who's like, I have a backup plan.
Right.
So don't piss me off because I have somebody else.
Yeah.
And she knows about you too and was
On your social media.
Yeah.
Girl. First of all, if she's listening, you need to get your life. Get off of that woman's page.
Honestly, literally get someone else's. Like, get your own man. I don't know why you have to get somebody else's man.
But who knows what he's telling her?
That is true.
Like, that's the real gag. Like, he could be
Yeah.
telling her anything.
That is true.
That's
Honestly,
the thing about fuckboys.
If I were you, girl, I would touch base with her and
Right.
then both of you dump him.
Right.
Dump his ass, both of you.
And go on vacation.
Literally together.
Yeah.
It could be like that movie, The Other Woman.
Yeah.
With Cameron Diaz.
Literally.
All three
Literally.
mistresses.
And have the best time.
Literally.
But then didn't the wife go back to the husband? But then she got rid of him. 'Cause
yeah, they ended up getting, like, she was the only one that went back to him for
Right.
like a second because she had a lot to lose. But that's what I'm saying, girl. Like, link up. and be like, we don't deserve this. We deserve someone better.
Exactly.
Period.
I think, and you know what? It's really the obsessive, jealous fuckboys that grind my gears the most. Because how are you trying to put claim on some shit that you don't actually want to put claim on?
Honestly. Because it's like a possessive thing at that point. It's literally just they want to be able to own you, and they don't want anyone else to have you, but they want to have options. Yeah. They're like, okay, you can't do that, but I'm allowed to.
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
Like, literally suck my left nut. At that point, girl, go fuck his friends. That's what I'm
Yes. Fuck his friends.
Go fuck his friends.
Make his pockets hurt.
The ones that hit you up, literally go do the same exact thing that they do to you, and then watch them be like, you're toxic.
Yeah, right.
You're literally so toxic.
Right.
When you return the same energy.
They hate that. They hate that.
Yeah, exactly. Even if you just start texting his friends, he'll spin out and be like, how could you do that to me?
Oh, 1000%. Or you just move on with somebody else and they're like,
and you're just happy.
You move away this quickly. You move on. You never really loved me.
Yeah, literally. I've said this before, like the worst fuckboy I've ever dealt with was right before I met my boyfriend or started dating my boyfriend. But he literally had no social media, like at all. And I've said before, this is a red flag for me now, because who are you, Jason Bourne?
Right.
Who are you hiding from?
Where's your shit?
Like, you in the witness protection program? I find that hard to believe. And something smelled off. And my friends were like, girl, something's off. I was like, I know, right? But like, you know, he was charming and handsome, so I was like, oh, okay, like kind of ignoring it a little bit. And then you find out he had a pregnant girlfriend of like 8 years. And he told me about her getting pregnant, but he said she was crazy.
Of course she is.
Yeah.
Of course she is.
He said she was only like a few weeks along. She was 9.5 months pregnant, like about to give birth.
He was like at the baby shower making an appearance.
And they lived together. And the only reason I found out was because she found me. So she like broke into his iPad because he had locks on everything, like they always do, cheaters. And she broke into his iPad, and because my name is gender neutral, she just thought I was a boy.
Yeah.
And then she was looking through the text and like found out that I was clearly not a boy. So she called me from his iPad at like 2 a.m.
And said what?
And she was like, is this Drue? And I go, yeah, who's this? And she just started crying. And she was like, oh my God, like I fucking knew it. Like I knew it. Turns out he was like a serial adulterer. Like he used to step out on her all the fucking time.
Okay, so she's seen this and she's still crying?
Well, and that's
Girl.
I think like she made her peace with it because she found out she was pregnant. And then like she put like apps on his phone to like track him, but didn't tell him. And I started telling her, girl, if you have to go to that extent.
Not you giving her advice.
I swear.
After she came to you as a woman.
I shit you not, I convinced her to leave him. I will say that on the record now. I literally talked to her for like 2.5 hours, and I was like, girl, you deserve better. And I literally, at that point, I had stopped talking to him because I was like, something stinks and I don't like it. And I told her, I haven't talked to him forever. I had no idea about you. He just barely told me. Barely anything. And then I was like, fuck, I look like I'm 21. You think I'm gonna be a stepmom?
No.
I'm out of here.
Have a good life.
Yeah, I said mazel, but like I'm out. So like I was like, I'm happy for you, but bye forever. Yes. And then he was constantly hitting me up. And then she called me, and I told her, I said, girl, I have a car. Like, you need me to move you out? I will drive down there. I
love this fucking energy.
Yeah, and she was like, I live with his family. Like, I know everyone. They always tell me to, like, I'm being crazy and blah, blah, blah. Like, she's just being gaslit by his whole family. So I was telling her, I was like, you deserve better, girl. You should move back home with your family. Yeah. I was, like, convincing her. I was like, yeah, you don't need him. You could be a single mom. You don't need him. I was just convincing.
I'll help you pack.
Yeah, I literally was like, I'll come move you. Like, I'll literally come pick you up.
I'm on my way.
And she was like, thank you for being so nice to me and so honest. And I was like, I mean, what am I going to say? So I was like, he got both of us, to be honest. And I said, the difference is, like, I felt it. Yeah. I felt the vibes were off. Yeah. So I just cut it off. And then this man, like, months later, tried to hitting me up again many times. And then he said, like, I heard you talk to her. Like, I appreciate you. Like this is why I know you're so special. I said, boy, if you don't get the fuck out of my inbox. Ew. And he was like, you're just going to ignore me? Bitch.
Absolutely.
No, I'm gonna make you drop a pin and I'm gonna come fist fight you is what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yes, I'm on my way.
If you give me the opportunity.
With your new baby in tow.
Literally.
Are you kidding me?
No, I swear to God. And after that, I was like, ooh. Like, and then I started talking to my boyfriend like months after that. And I told him the story too, and he was like, damn, so you were the other woman? I was like, yeah, apparently.
Yeah. But not intentionally.
against my own will.
Right.
Right.
Oh
So
my God.
allegedly.
Honestly, that's a great fuckboy story. Mine was just like showing up, like inviting me out places
Yeah.
only to invite other bitches to those places.
What?
And leave with those bitches.
Huh?
Multiple times.
So he brought you like as arm candy and then would like
multiple times.
interchange you?
Multiple times.
What the
I know. And
fuck?
when you look back on it, you're like, bitch, are you dumb?
Honestly, I look back on my shit and I'm like, am I a fucking idiot?
Are you
Am-
stupid?
Truly? Yeah.
Do you know
feel,
yourself?
Don't you feel dumb?
Yes.
Don't
yes,
you feel
I
stupid?
do. And
Literally.
I overthink it nightly. Like regularly.
Yeah, sometimes your eyes just open at night and
Yeah.
you're like, that was horrible.
Yeah.
I'm a big idiot.
I really did that stupid shit.
I'd be sipping on dumb bitch
Yeah.
juice.
Sometimes.
I really was. I really was. I was
Sometimes.
drunk off that shit in college. I really was.
Sometimes.
And I'm sure you have many stories like this.
Mhm.
But like I have interactions. I've had interactions with like famous athletes, so like football players.
Mhm.
And those are some of the biggest fuckboys on this planet.
yeah.
Let me tell
Yeah.
you right now. Can you talk about hoes in different area codes?
Yes.
Like professional athletes really be having
they run the
20
gamut.
lives.
They
like,
run the gamut.
honestly. Some of them are really nice, but that's very, very small percentage
Right.
of them. Most of them are running a fucking train in every
Right.
city they go to. So I remember I met one, like, because I was working in sports and stuff, so I met a lot of them, but one of them took a really big interest in me. And the only reason I won't say who it is because he was married at the time and had kids, and I had no idea.
No surprise.
So he was spinning a whole yarn about how he's like, you're so special and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you've only known me for 2 hours. Like, what the fuck you mean I'm
he caught
special?
the vibes.
Yeah, he's like, love at first sight. Let's go back to my
God.
room. Let me tell you more about how you want to go back to my room. And he offered to fly me to the Super Bowl and all this stuff. And I come to find out he followed me on Instagram, was like DMing me and texting me. And then I come to find out he has like a wife and had like 3 kids.
Here's the thing, you guys. I think that theoretically, being a basketball wife, football wife, like it all sounds cute.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, without telling you, allegedly, I loved that word because it is not incriminating to me.
Yeah.
Allegedly, some of your favorite pro athletes are out here fucking other bitches
No, honestly,
that are not their wives.
on the reg.
I've seen it.
Yeah, me
I've
too.
experienced it.
Honestly.
Not as the bitch that they're fucking, but like I've seen the transaction
but not for
occur.
lack of trying.
Right.
That's for
Exactly.
sure. I'm sure they've
Exactly.
tried with you.
Yes.
And that's why I'm like, it's funny because like men, like shitty men on the internet will get even more mad when you talk about stuff like that because they're like, don't talk about him like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're just mad because he won't fuck you, but
Right.
that's not on me. That's on you. Like, you want to hit him
That's
up?
the
You
reality.
want me to give him your number? And then
Yes.
you can see if he wants to fuck you too.
They would love that.
Yeah, and like that's why I've had interactions with ones who are young and like single, but some of them are like, when I've told those stories on TikTok, they're like, "Oh, you fumbled the bag! Like you fumbled the bag."
Nobody wants them.
And I said, "You think this man wanted to hang out with me because he thought I had really good taste in music?
Yeah.
Like you think that's what
Yeah.
he was interested in?" He's like, "You look smart.
Yeah.
Would you like to have an intellectual conversation with me?" Yeah, sure. I'm sure that's what he wanted, right? And I was like, I'm uninterested.
Yeah.
So, but flattered. Thanks.
Yeah.
So, and some of them too will be like, "Oh, your boyfriend doesn't care about these." I'm like, why would the fuck would my boyfriend care about my
No.
past? Every girl has a past,
No.
right?
Oh my God, I love when you talk about those things on TikTok or like
Yeah.
one of my favorite videos of yours is when you're like, you know, men will be like, oh, you know, she dumped me or like we broke up and like she's doing so much better, like. And you're not having any type of like level of introspection where you're like,
At all.
why is she doing better without me?
Yeah.
Maybe
Accountability on
because-
zero.
Maybe because you were a toxic fuckboy,
Literally.
dragging her down,
Honestly.
and she was spending more time thinking about you and the shit that you were doing instead
Yeah.
of creating her fucking business plan.
Maybe because you were sucking the actual life out of her. And
Yeah.
maybe that's why. So that's why I'm like, accountability on zero.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine living in that world of ignorance
Yes.
where I'm like, I mean, like, clearly I'm perfect.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it didn't work.
Yeah.
And I don't know why she's so much happier without me.
Looking
'Cause
better.
Clearly, she looks
Skin
better.
glowing.
Right. She's like making more money. She's just so much more successful and happier. And clearly, because I follow her and stalk her on everything. And I just, clearly, it's not me.
Yeah, what a
So it's
bitch.
got to be her. Yeah. I just think, like, how can you. So many men are like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like jerking each other off in the comments. And I'm like, all of you, brain cells on zero.
Yes.
Like, none of you are like,
Yeah.
like the math isn't mathing, babes.
Yes.
Like let's see what she subtracted out of her life and how it like she instantly shot to the top. It's because you were weighing her down, man.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. You can be aware, like self-aware.
Right.
You can literally tell yourself like, oh, like I had my faults, she had hers, and it just didn't work.
Right.
That's why I always say another red flag is when they talk mad shit on their ex and take no accountability.
She's crazy.
Yeah, she's insane. Like
Yeah.
I had nothing but love her, and she just couldn't handle it. She's jealous. Like people can say like, oh, my ex was a little jealous, but like they can also admit to their faults too, and they can be like, well, that was on me also because I was selfish in some aspects, whatever. If all they do is talk shit, like they did something bad.
Yeah.
If that's all they did, they did something bad.
And it's not like a feather in your cap to
No.
listen to a man talk shit about his ex in that kind of
Honestly.
way. So like, listen, hopefully this was helpful. I know that there are going to be so many other messages coming in, and
I
like
hope so.
even at like you have to come back
I would
because
love to.
we have to we there's so much more to unpack here.
Honestly.
And like we need to talk about things from the genesis. Like we need to talk about who is actually birthing these men, who's
Right.
raising them. How do they become so fucked up?
honestly.
Until next time on Relationship. Hi, I'm Cami Crawford, host of the Relationship podcast. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more videos, click below to subscribe and like this video for more Dear Media content. So shut up and listen.